Welcome to the Dermatology Studio with Dr. Yusra Ayaz.
All right, welcome everyone. Today we're diving into the world of lichen planus. Now, this is a fascinating one because it's a single condition that can wear so many different hats, so to speak. It's a true medical shapeshifter. Let's get right into it. So, let me ask you something. Take a look at this. Have you ever seen a pattern like this on someone's skin? It's this really delicate, almost web-like design. And it's not just a random pattern. Oh no, it's a huge clue for the condition we're digging into today. And that pattern? It actually has a name, Wickham's stria. It's this super fine, lacy network of white lines right on the surface of the lesions. I mean, look at that. You can see the tracery so clearly. For a dermatologist, spotting this is like finding a major clue at a crime scene. It's a classic telltale sign of lichen planus. Okay, and check this out. Here's another classic sign to look for. It's called the Koebner phenomenon. And what does that mean? Well, it's when new lesions literally pop up right in a line where the skin has been traumatized, from a scratch or an injury. You can literally trace the path of the injury by the new lesions that form. Pretty wild, right? All right, here's a quick roadmap for our tour today. We'll start with the basics of LP. Then we'll look at oral and genital variants, move to the scalp and some thickened lesions, check out a whole spectrum of skin patterns, see what happens when it forms blisters, and finally, we'll meet a few of its lichenoid relatives. Let's jump in. Okay, first up, decoding lichen planus. Let's break down the core features. So what are we actually looking for with classic lichen planus? Well, the lesions themselves are these firm, shiny, almost polygonal papules. Think reddish to violet. After they finally go away, they can leave behind this kind of grayish-brown pigmentation. But the one thing people really remember is the itch, the pruritus. It's not just a little itch, it can be incredibly severe, especially with certain types we'll see later. And where does it like to show up? Most commonly on the wrists, the lower back, and around the ankles. All right, let's move on to our next section, the oral and genital variants. You see, LP isn't just a skin thing. It can show up in sensitive areas. And that's when things get a bit more complicated. So, take a look at this. This is oral LP. It's actually pretty common. You often see these classic white lacy patterns, kind of like the Wickham stria we saw earlier, but on the inside of the cheeks or on the tongue. And as you can imagine, having this in your mouth can be really uncomfortable, causing everything from a burning sensation to outright pain. Now, oral LP isn't just one thing. It comes in 4 main flavors, you could say: reticular, atrophic, hypertrophic, and the one you're seeing here, erosive. And this erosive form, this one is the one we really worry about. It's not just that it's incredibly painful. The real danger is that the chronic inflammation can, over time, lead to something much more serious: squamous cell carcinoma. So it's definitely one to watch closely. Okay, so how is it diagnosed in the genital region? Well, there's a specific set of criteria clinicians look for. First, you've got these well-demarcated erosions right at the vaginal opening. Second, you might see a thickened border or those telltale Wickham striae nearby. Third, the patient will report symptoms like pain or burning. Fourth, you look for scarring or any loss of the normal architecture. And finally, a biopsy will show that classic band-like inflammatory infiltrate. You really need this combination to nail the diagnosis. Next up, let's talk about the scalp and some of the more thickened, persistent forms of LP. And this right here is Lichen Planopilaris. Basically, this is what happens when Lichen planus decides to attack the hair follicles on the scalp. The inflammation it causes leads to scarring, and unfortunately, that means permanent, irreversible hair loss. It's a really tough one for patients. And it can get even more specific. Lichen Planopilaris is at the heart of 2 well-known syndromes. First, you have Graham-Little Piccardi Lassueur syndrome. It's a triad of things. You get the scarring alopecia on the scalp, but then you also get non-scarring hair loss in the armpits and groin, plus these little keratotic bumps. The other big one is frontal fibrosing alopecia. This mostly affects older women, and it causes this very characteristic scarring and hair loss right at the frontal hairline, and often they lose their eyebrows too. Okay, now this is hypertrophic LP. Think thick, think warty, and think intensely itchy. These lesions usually pop up on the lower legs, especially around the shins. They can stick around for years, and this is another one we have to be really careful with because there's a real risk of it transforming into a skin cancer like a keratoacanthoma or squamous cell carcinoma. All right, let's keep moving. Now we're going to do a quick run-through of a whole spectrum of different skin patterns that LP can create. So what happens when it shows up on the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet? Well, we call that palmoplantar LP. The skin here is thick, so the lesions look a bit different. They're firm, kind of yellowish, and can even form these big sheet-like patches. And, fun fact, this is one version where the itching might actually not be a big feature. And this one is called Guttate LP. Guttate is Latin for drop, and that's exactly what it looks like. These small, separate, drop-like lesions scattered all over the skin. It can sometimes be mistaken for something like guttate psoriasis. The good news here is that these lesions usually aren't chronic. And the list goes on. Real quick, 3 more patterns for you. Actinic LP, which shows up on sun-exposed skin as dark patches. Then there's LP pigmentosus, which gives you these sleek gray to brownish-black spots, often on the face and neck. And finally, annular LP. Annular just means ring-shaped, and that's exactly what you get, these ring-like lesions. Okay, but what happens when the inflammation gets so bad that the skin actually starts to form blisters? Yeah, that can happen. Let's look at the bullous or blistering variants. So here we have the 2 main blistering types side by side. On one side, you've got Bullous Lichen Planus, and on the other, Lichen Planus Pemphigoides. At first glance, they might look pretty similar, but trust me, what's happening underneath the surface is totally different. And this is the crucial part. With Bullous LP, the blisters form on or near the existing LP lesions. It's just a result of super intense inflammation. But with LP pemphigoidoids, it's a whole different ballgame. This is actually a second autoimmune process happening at the same time, so the blisters can pop up anywhere, on LP lesions and on totally normal-looking skin. The definitive test is called direct immunofluorescence. For Bullous LP, it's negative, but for LP pemphigoidoids, it's positive, showing antibodies that confirm that second autoimmune attack. It's a really important distinction to make. All right, to wrap things up, let's meet a couple of Lichen Planus' close relatives. These are conditions that look and act similarly. They're lichenoid, but are their own distinct things. First up is Lichen nitidus. Look how tiny these are. They're minute, pinpoint, shiny little bumps. You'll often find them clustered together on places like the forearms and the abdomen. If you look at Lichen nitidus under the microscope, it has this classic ball and claw appearance, which is pretty distinctive. And our other relative here is Necam disease. This one presents as these reddish, almost warty-looking papules that can arrange themselves in a linear pattern. Now, here's why identifying these is so important. They can be associated with other, more systemic conditions. You know, Lichenitis has been linked with Crohn's disease, trisomy 21, and a few others. And Necamome disease can be a sign of things like glomerulonephritis or lymphoproliferative disorders. It just goes to show you, what you see on the skin can be a clue to something happening deeper inside the body. So let's just recap. We've seen Lichen planus as classic bumps, as painful sores in the mouth, as something that causes hair loss, as thick, warty plaques, and even as blisters. It's incredible. It really makes you stop and think, if a single condition can wear so many different masks, how does that challenge our whole concept of what a diagnosis even is? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for watching. Hit like, share, and subscribe to the Dermatology Studio. Ask your skin queries in the comments below.